Yedawapo, Kirikeni mo.
Mena Yediebo, why Kirikeni man?
Welcome back to another lesson.
You are Bible thinking. The next vowel sound, O. In Kirikeni Okwein, we have two sounds for the letter O. We have O for O, and we also have O. And when it's O, there's a dot under the O. So we have O and O. Let's look for an example of O. Olo, Olo. The vowel, the diacritics marks on Olo are falling, both O at the beginning and O at the end. Olo. The diacritics are falling. An example of rising diacritics on the O sound would be Oloko, Oloko, all rising on the O. And that's the word for law, Oloko. So we have rising, Oloko, fallen, Olo. Let's look for an example of O, Olo, Olo. Both diacritics are rising. Olo means cough. Olo, cough. And they're both rising. We can also look for an example of falling diacritic in O sound. We could think of a word like Olo, Olo. Olo has both a rising and a falling. The first O is rising, O, and the second one falls. So Olo, meaning hold. We will continue our lesson on stress marks. In this part of the lesson, I would like you to repeat after me. We made some sounds in the first part. We learned the basic sounds of the vowels in particular, and we made a note of how the stress marks could rise or fall. And simply by the tone of voice, a word that has the same spelling can have a completely different meaning. So it's very important that you get the tone right. So beginning with the letter A, can you repeat after me? A. Example, ama.
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 The stress marks are rising. I wonder if you were able to note that very quickly, that they're rising. Ama. We'll go for one that, take an example of falling diacritics on the A sound. Aba.
Aba.
And you said,
Aba.
Well done. Aba is the word for shoulders. And the diacritics are falling on the A sound. Going on to the letter B. B. and B. The letter B has two sounds, as we learned in our first part, B and B. So example of B, bara, bara, that's hand. Can you repeat bara?
Bara.
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 Did you realize that the diacritics were rising? Bara. And example of a B sound is bon. Can you say bon?
Bon.
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 And the B here sounds like an English B, bon. But I wonder if you noticed that we had a silent N at the end, and the diacritic over the N would be like a circumflex or a dash. Nowadays, dash is more generally accepted, but if you see a circumflex anywhere above an N, you know that it's a silent one. So say it one more time. Bon.
Bon.
We can also go for another example like buru. Can you say buru?
Buru.
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 Do you know the meaning for buru? That is the word for yam. And again, the B has a dot underneath. We'll go on to letter C. In Kirikeni Okwein, we only have one letter representing C, and it's CH, che. Can you say che?
Che.
An example of that is che.
Chin.
Can you say it one more time?
Chin.
Che. And the meaning of che is stick, is a word for stick. We'll go on to letter D. D has two sounds in Kirikeni Okwein, D and D. Can you translate them both, please?
D. D.
Well done. Example of D, dede.
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 Dede means morning. An example of D would be dabo.
Dabo.
Can you say one more time?
Dabo.
Dabo. And that means father or daddy. We'll go on to letter E now. In Kirikeni Okwein, there are two sounds for letter E. A and E. Can you say them, please?
E.
Example of A, ene.
Ene.
Can you say it one more time?
Ene.
Ene. And ene is rain, the word for rain. Ene. Another example of A sounds. Ene. Ene.
Ene.
Can you say it one more time?
Ene.
Ene means day. And the diacritics for ene are both rising. We'll go on to the other sound, the second sound for letter E. Eh. Can you say eh after me?
An
example would be ere.
Ere.
One more time.
Ere.
Ere means name. And the diacritics for ere are rising as it sounds. Ere. And we can go on to another vowel sound. So an example of falling diacritics for would be eh. Can you say that?
Eh.
And that means no. We'll go to the letter I. In Kirikeni Okwein, we have two sounds for I, and our two sounds are E and A. Can you say that?
E. A.
Very good. E. An example of E, Iri,
Iri.
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 Iri means thread. And the diacritics Iri are both fallen for Iri. And we have another example of rising diacritics. An example of rising diacritics for E sound would be Iri. Can you say Iri?
Iri.
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 Iri means to be missing or lost. Iri. And the diacritics for Iri are rising by contrast. So we have Iri, then we have Iri. Now the second sound, A. A. Can you say that again?
A.
And we will use two examples again. We can use the examples of pronouns ere.
Ere.
Say that again.
Ere.
Ere, meaning I or myself. Ere. And the diacritics are falling in this example. Ere. The diacritics rise when we talk about the second person singular, you. And it becomes ere, ere,
Ere.
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 I want you to use, just to remember it, you can point at yourself and your neighbor. Ere, ere.
Ere. Ere.
Very good. We'll move on to letter O now. O has two sounds in Kirikeni Okwein. O and O. Can you say those sounds, please?
O. O.
Very good. Example of O, Olo.
Olo.
Can you say it one more time?
Olo.
Olo. I'm sure you can guess which way the diacritics are going by the tone of voice. They are falling. If you guessed that, that was correct. Fallen diacritics, Olo. And rising diacritics on the letter O. Our example, a good example would be Oloko, Oloko. The diacritics are going up. Your tone of voice is going up for all the O there. Oloko, can you say that?
Oloko.
Oloko means law. So falling example, olo, rising example, oloko. The second sound, o, an example will be olo. Can you say olo?
Olo.
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 I'm sure you guessed right that the diacritics are rising. Olo, both rising. And an example of falling one for o would be olo, olo,
Olo.
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 That's hold or keep hold of something. Let's go on then to letter U in Kirikeni Okwein. We have two sounds again for this vowel, and they're oo, oo, and o. Can you say them?
U. O.
So, example of oo sound, guru.
Buru.
Can you say that again?
Buru.
Guru. So the sound is oo. And did you notice how the diacritics are going? Did you guess that they were? How did you think they were going? Guru.
Buru. Both falling.
Guru. Yes, they're both falling. Well done. And we will find an example of O sound now. So we've got an example of oo. Let's go for an example of O. O. Can you say that again? O.
O.
An example would be as in the sound foro.
Foro.
Well done. Did you guess what that means? Foro means smell. And the diacritics would be foro, rising and falling. The first one rises on the O sound and the second O falls. Foro. Well done. Please practice these and I'm sure you'll be very good in getting your basic tones for Kirikeni Okwein. Miebaka. On that note, we will end.